And hello, loves. Welcome back to another reactionary video with your girl, Sarah. I am here with another episode of a series we started a few months back by this time, Jesus Freaks. We are on episode 2. I'm excited to get to it. Now, here's the deal. I did record a lot of the videos in advance, and that's why there's such a long gap in between, because I had a lot for buffer videos, and then I was like, oh, hey, I want to start the series, and I don't know, I wanted to post it in January, so that's why I posted in January, but at that point, I had videos all the way up to the end of May recorded before that, if that makes sense. So now it's not as long of a pause for me reacting to this, but it's definitely a longer pause for you guys. So let's go ahead and get on into it.
Good morning, Ash. Good morning. I slept like a baby. Oh, period. I have to tell you about my quiet time this morning. You're not ready for this. So Abraham got this promise from the Lord because God knew what was to come, even though Abraham didn't. But he leaned into the promise of God and he was like, okay, even though this looks impossible, like, I'm actually going to believe.
Okay, so that is something that I've learned, and actually, as far as in that I've been leaning into so much more, as far as in reminding yourself that God knows the future. He knows your future. So anytime I'm in a difficult situation, or even not a difficult situation, anytime I'm just in a situation that's like a choice based, or just like where I don't know what's going to happen, I remind myself that God knows what's going to happen. So if there ever feels like an odd reasoning for feeling the pull towards something that he's telling me to do that maybe I don't want to do, or seems unlikely or unreasonable to do, I try to remind myself that the Lord knows me and he knows my future, and he wants you to have a good life. Like, a good life might not be in the same definition as us as it is for him, but he wants the best for all of us. So he's going to bring about things in your life in ways that you won't even think is a good way. Like, that's why it's always important to remind yourself of this. Like, he knows, like, technically he's already there. He's already in your future. He's already in your past. Like, God is omnipresent, like, he's everywhere all the time. Like, so if you ever are stuck in a situation, pray to God. It's good to lean on him. It's good to follow his guiding instead of your own, because we can only see what's in front of us, and even then sometimes we can't. But God can see what's in front of us, what's around us during that time, what's going to be around us, everything. Like, if there is something he's putting on you that you feel like is something you're not going to find joy in, trust the Lord, and that he's going to bring joy out of that. Maybe not that specifically, in like, maybe it'd be something that you grow from, or maybe it'd be something that you end up having in your life that you don't know that you love until you have it and start appreciating. Like, God knows it all, and he knows what will bring you joy more than something else. He knows the best life for you to have, so trust that he is bringing you in that.
And then, because he believed even more, I know you're getting holy zaps. I am. His faith grew stronger. Yeah. And so I was even just thinking about us. I'm like,
zaps. I know what they're referring to when it's like those downloads, or that kind of like holy moments or Holy Spirit click into place moments. We have to believe in the God I've not heard someone refer to it as things to life, holy zaps,
and creates new things out of nothing. Yeah. Which is exactly what it says in Romans 4. So I feel like right now we're just in this spot where, like, the Lord's giving us an opportunity. You can either fall into doubt, or we can say, no, God, this looks impossible, but you would never make a promise to us that you weren't going to keep.
That patience too is so hard. Like, I'm not going to lie. I got a promise from the Lord. I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of it because it's something personal, but I got a promise from the Lord, and sometimes it's like you kind of want to not necessarily doubt God, but doubt yourself of if maybe you didn't hear God or didn't hear him right. But then just like having that reaffirmed, it's just like that patience for that is like so frustrating. That's like another thing that you have to remind yourself of, because God knows your future. He knows the best timing. So it's just like, I want that promise fulfilled now, but I trust that you know that there's a reason it has to be fulfilled at this time instead of earlier or later. Like, I trust that you will bring me to there with peace and fulfillment and help me with my patience. I also trust that, like, the trust in the patient, like, the patience is like so difficult.
I mean, like, I kind of want to be a Pilates girly. A pink Pilates princess? Maybe. I'm scared of doing like a lot of cardio. So I might need a friend named Ashley H to help me. Do you want to run? I can run. I can't run as far as you can. Okay, well, the thing about running, though, is it gets easier with time. What if we did like a mile together? Oh, a mile? Yeah. Allie, I'm so up for that. I do have to say, anytime I run, I don't know if I love it when I'm in it, but afterwards, I feel like I could actually fight Goliath.
I have a tendency to where either life comes at me and I have to take a break from exercising whatever I'm doing. Like, it was originally like mostly either because I have a chronic illness. I'm anemic, so I tend to be exhausted, especially when my iron is low. If I'm not taking it or whatever, just like that tends to be, especially when it's that time of the month or right beforehand, it hits me hard even when I'm on my iron. But even other things, I'm trying to get it checked out, but I seem to have like some other kind of chronic illness because it's just like I get sick a lot, but not like sick as in like a cold, but just like I tend to have migraines. I tend to be just like exhausted. Tend to be just like waking up feeling like I'm hungover, even though I drank plenty of water the day before and didn't even drink the day before. Like, it's just like waking up feeling like crap a lot of times, I guess is the best way to explain it. Just feeling sick, like having a lot of down days of just like, okay, this has definitely got to be like a lazy rest day. But that being the case, I tend to either have it to where I have a relapse in my exercising because of that, or just because life throws something at me and it makes it hard to work it in. But I do have to say that originally, when that would happen and I would be exercising outside, and like the seasons, because I have really bad pollen allergies, so I can't even step outside without a mask for like a couple 2 to 3 months out of the year when it's like early spring. So it would be like seasons would throw me off to where I couldn't exercise going outside running or doing anything like that because it would be too cold or too hot or seasonal. And so it's just like, I know I'm not the only one that struggles with that. So as far as in like, I get the struggle of trying to exercise and then just like things thrown off, but I have found that it's a lot easier to find a workout program on YouTube or something. I personally do Grow with Joe and just do exercise videos because it's a lot easier. And then even pairing them with music to pump you up. I'll do the music beforehand to kind of like get into the groove, especially if my iron is low and I'm tired. Sometimes it kind of gives me an extra boost into it, or watching a YouTube video that I want to watch with it while I'm exercising. Like, finding ways to get yourself into exercising is always like a plus. But yeah, like, definitely love running and want to run. I've only ever had the runner's high, I think, once, and now I'm just like more so want to run. It's like I like the idea of running, but it's like the running itself is sometimes like, because your body is tired, like when you first, like, you have to build up your endurance for that. But I get the whole vibe of just wanting to be a runner, but just like not being there. You just got to keep with it. Like anything, exercising, like working, just anything that you want to achieve, you have to be disciplined and you have to lean on the Lord for that disciplinary strength as well. Like actually pushing, like Him giving you the little boost, because it's not going to be like an extreme push you forward. That's your job. I'm not going to say never. Maybe there are some circumstances, but for the majority of the time, just like with your spiritual walk and with sin, with stuff like that, of other kind of disciplines, you can lean on Him, but you have to know that He's only going to do so much, because you have to also, He's going to be the helping hand up. You have to be the one actually standing, at least with that. There are times He holds you. I'm just saying, as far as in with certain things of growth, He's going to be the thing to help you up and walk with you, but you also have to put in the effort.
Okay, I need to be vulnerable for a moment. Oh, please. I've just been struggling with the relationships out here that we're making, like new people that we're meeting. Right. With knowing how to know like who's from God and then who's from the enemy. But I also want to be open. Yeah. But I also want to guard my heart because I don't want to get hurt.
That's a hard
balance. I don't
balance.
even know, like, I don't know
You
the
gotta
people
go to
out
the
here
Lord and build
well
up your
at all.
discernment. That's the
I don't want
best
to be
way.
guarded, but I want to guard my heart. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, just bring it to the feet of God and say, Lord, is this from you or is this a temptation from the enemy? Because he knows the desires of my heart.
I have learned though, as far as in building up that discernment and coming to the Lord and focusing on your feeling, because a lot of times you'll have that gut feeling, but sometimes it can be murky in a way that you can't tell if it's anxiety of meeting people or if it's actually just like, no, they're not a good person. So just like focusing on the feeling. Sometimes if it's like you meet someone and you just feel like icky around them, and the best ways to explain it are just like sick or just like you feel uncomfortable in a way that just feels wrong is the best way to explain it, then usually that's your gut and like your discernment and like, hey, yeah, that's not a good person. But if you're just like anxious or I mean, unless you are not an anxious person, if you are feeling anxiety around somebody and you're not normally an anxious person, I mean, that in itself could be a tell. But as far as, and if you are like, if you struggle with anxiety, like I have trouble with strangers and just people in general because I have anxiety, and I'm also like paranoid person. I'm not gonna say like I'm super paranoid, but I do have paranoid tendencies as far as in like I have an active imagination. So I'm just like, yeah, let's not have the windows open at night. Let's check our car before, like I'm that kind of paranoid person where it's like more like anxiety based. But as far as in if you are an anxious person or have anxiety, just maybe like if you can tell, like that in itself is something that I've been working on the Lord is my anxiety. The more I work on my anxiety, the more I'm able to tell the difference between a discernment kind of pull and like an anxiety kind of pull, because it just feels like, I'm not going to say it feels like hollow in the sense of it feels like empty, but as far as in like hollow in the sense of when I have like when my anxiety is messing with me, it feels hollow in the sense of it doesn't feel like there's anything behind it more than the anxiety itself, if that makes sense. Like it, like usually when it's the Lord or even the enemy messing with you or taunting, it's just like if you pay enough attention to it, sometimes it just feels like there's a little bit more behind it. So when anxiety is behind, or when it's anxiety, it just kind of feels like, okay, I can let go of this easier than if it's just like the enemy trying to toy with you. It just feels like I keep trying to let this go, but it won't. Even taking it to the Lord, like it won't let go. Or even the Lord trying to let you in on something, tell you something, and it's just like there just feels kind of like it's like a stronger pull sometimes if it's like something spiritual compared to anxiety. So yeah, that's definitely something you have to lean in on the Lord to try to like finding out if somebody's meant to be in your life or not, just like taking it to the Lord and learning and growing in that discernment, because I feel like of all the gifts, discernment is one that is freely given out even if you don't have the gift of discernment, because there will be some people with some gifts and not others. Like as far as in some people can heal, some people can have tongues, some people can have prophetic or the gift of prophecy, but I'm not going to say definitively everyone has discernment, but I feel like as far as in the gifts that could, I'm left under the impression that discernment is something that all Christians have at some degree. You just have to be more intentional on the growth of it. Now, I think there are some people who have like a stronger gift of discernment that the Lord gives them as their gift. But I also feel like that is something kind of like when somebody is naturally good at something and then somebody else works hard towards it. I think that's kind of probably what that gift is, to where there's some people who are naturally like gifted discernment when they have the Holy Spirit given to them, and then other people when they have the Holy Spirit given to them, that's something they have to work hard for. That is definitely for me. I can't tell. I feel like maybe because of how I grew up, I gaslit myself into not having strong discernment, and now I'm kind of like trying to unweave that trauma and stuff to kind of like better my discernment, because I feel like I've always had like, I remember in like vividly some scenarios that just made me feel super uncomfortable, and looking back on it, it feels like, oh, that was my discernment. But at the same time, I don't necessarily know, maybe, I don't know, that is complicated. But yes, that's also something you have to be careful of, not gaslighting yourself out of your discernment. You have to definitely always take it to the Lord, always untangle that, if you may.
But I want to guard my heart. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, just bring it to the feet of God and say, Lord, is this from you, or is this a temptation from the enemy? Because he
And the
knows the
Lord's
desires
always
of
the
my
best
heart.
guard of
So
your hearts.
the prayer of like, God, if this is from you, like let
Because
it
I want to be
prosper,
a
but if
person
not,
with a
then
soft heart, but a soft
let them
heart guarded
go.
by the Lord.
But what if
And
you
I
pray
have
that and they get closer?
I have noticed, because I had that same struggle of, I used to be super naive, and because of that, I had a guarded heart. And it was more so a guarded heart, as in, like, it would be hard at times and just more cynical kind of vibe off, or like perspective. Like, I would have some moments to where I'm just like, I want to tell this person my whole life story and trust them with everything. And then it would like click at the next second of like, oh no. And it's like, not cold in a way, but as far as in like, it's just like my perspective would change of like, no, that's not the best idea. Let's completely block them out, completely just like they're somebody who you need to be on guard on. And then taking it to the Lord, it's just like I have that same deal of where it's like I want to spill everything to everyone. I want to trust everyone. And it's, there is a snap, but it's not necessarily a snap as in like cold and cynical, but it's just more so like, no, let's take a step back. Let's observe them. Let's like feel them out. Let's put more into the relationship, growing it to know if they are somebody to trust or not. So when you do take these kinds, like, there's a lot of things that you can do or that are done that just like, I guess the best way to explain it is to where it's just like the enemy's way of distorting it. Like, you think you're being wise and uh shrewd in a way, because it does talk about Jesus saying, be as shrewd as vipers but innocent as doves. And that's one thing that I had to learn, was that it is okay, like, because so many people think that being innocent means you have to be naive, and that's not the case. And so, and being soft hearted means you have to trust everyone. And that in itself, being shrewd as snakes, or shrewd as vipers and innocent as doves, proves that you should have a soft heart, but you have to have that soft heart in a way that you also are being like observant and holding back and being wise with that innocent self. And I guess that's the best way to explain it, is like, you have to be careful that you're not twisting it into a cynical sense of just like not trusting anybody and always just being on guard about everyone, but knowing that there are some people you can take things to and some people you can trust, and that there are like, there's a difference between being wise and being cynical. Like, there's a difference between seeing sin in the world for what it is and seeing sin in the world and thinking everything's always bad.
Like, God, if this is from you, like let it prosper, but if not, then let them go. But what if you pray that and they get closer? Does that mean that they're from God? Then I would imagine there has to be a purpose, yeah, because God's sovereign enough. Right. I'm just scared to get hurt again. Yeah, Ash, I think that's all really real. I'll speak for myself. Like, I get so excited, and I'm like so quick to trust people and like love them right off the bat. But I think think that's a lot of feelings
And
and
you
not as
can
much
still
like logic
love
from the
everybody
Lord.
without,
Amen. When I reflect
or
on the
with
things that probably
being
went wrong with other relationships, it's like, were you a little
discerning.
too trusting a little too soon now? Yeah. How about I'm letting them in
Not
my heart
trusting
before
somebody
I
doesn't
even
mean
see
you
what
don't
kind of
love
fruit they're
them. It
growing from
just
that
means
tree?
that
Fruit over anything else, over words,
you're
fruit,
being wise with
actions.
your love.
Matthew 7. Yes. 13. Yes. Beware of false prophets who come disguised as harmless sheep but are really vicious wolves. You can identify them by their fruit. That is, by the way they act. Just as you can identify a tree by its fruit.
But you do have to be careful,
So
though,
you
because
can
some people
identify
act
people
a certain way,
by
and
their
it's
actions.
not really them, and
Actions.
that's where the
It's
discernment
not
comes
that words
in.
don't matter.
Like, as far as in, you have to be careful not to assume somebody's a certain way just because they behave a certain way, especially if they're behaving a certain way in public, and just even hearing somebody else talk about them in a positive sense doesn't mean that you should instantly think I mean, you should be open to everyone of them being a good person. You just still have to be careful, because I deal with mental health stuff in my writing. So I am very much aware that people put on a presentation, especially people who are nefarious and bad, the best way, not like as in it's good, I'm just saying as far as in I guess the hardest people to thumb out as nefarious are the ones who are doing their best to hide that evil behind a pleasant mask and pleasant actions. It's what they do when no one's around that is more telling, but when no one's around, it's hard to see their fruit. So you have to be careful. That's where the discernment and the gut instinct is, of when you feel icky about somebody, but you can't necessarily place your thumb on it. I'm not saying be cynical in the sense of straight away, oh, they're a bad person, but maybe take that to the Lord and maybe lean into the whole, maybe you need to step back from that person. We shouldn't necessarily be, or we shouldn't be mean to them, because we're supposed to be kind and loving to even our enemies. But definitely trust the Lord if that is what He's doing. Because as far as in, sometimes you will feel something about somebody even though they aren't presenting in that way. If they aren't, like, they seem very nice. And I grew up with somebody who was very much this kind of person, to where they presented to everyone in public that they were this nice and amazing person, but behind closed doors they were very mean and abusive. And yeah, so you just have to be careful.
Thanks, Alios.
Now, did they film this themselves, or did they have a film crew?
What? Where do we find this? Where do we find Princess Diaries? I think it's on Disney Plus.
Looks like a real nice night in.
Dude, I'm gonna miss nights like this. Wait, why are you getting sad? Don't be sad. Don't get me sad. I'm just appreciating the moment. Because one day we won't be doing this anymore. No. Ollie, I can't wait to slow dance with my man.
Whatever happened to him, like on the second one, like they made it to be like he was this endgame, but then he wasn't even in the second movie.
I love. Because who can do miracles? Miracles happen. This is low-key biblical. Where is the remote? All things will come. In a little time. Time. If you believe. What did I say about Abraham? He believed. You believed your faith. And then the miracle happened. He got divorced.
Call back.
Yes. I have smoked. I have smoked. Maybe I've tried to smoke, but I don't think
Okay, so she did.
No, but I don't think I did it right.
The first time I smoked, I was at like a church trip.
So
We were really bad. Before Jesus, me and my friends were really bad.
But you guys were still at a church camp.
Yeah. We caused our leaders to literally quit.
When did you start feeling convicted about like drinking and like partying?
Like 2021, whenever I found the Lord. But yeah, for me, I didn't like, the Lord just like removed the desire for me to like smoke. And
I'm not gonna say that I was like a horrible kid, or like very much like out doing drugs and junk like that. But even when you are saved and are with the Lord, when you're done it young, it kind of is like when you grow up, like how you have a baby Christian into like more mature Christian. I kind of had that as like my actual growing up, to where like my baby Christian years were during my actual baby years. So it's like I did a lot of stuff that I would not even touch now or do now, but I wasn't really like, I still believed in the Lord. I still had like a strong faith, but because I was still like immature in Christ and immature in life, it was just like I did do things. So like even that, him like when you're young, I'm not saying like it's permitted, like you have to or it's like okay to do that, but I'm just saying as far as in don't feel, but when you are young and saved, it's there's just a little bit difference between being young and saved and being like an adult and being saved. I'm not saying like the sins are different. I'm just saying as far as in because your mentality and your mindset is you're going through your rebel years and your kind of rebel years. Like there are some people that are just like, I guess not like that, and even like being saved for even just a year. But there'll be people that will be saved and relatively will like drop a lot of stuff. And sometimes I can like you'll feel bad. I felt bad because I'm just like, well, I wasn't even like that like years after being saved. And then you just kind of have to remind yourself there's a difference between like age progression, if that are like different mindsets and stuff like that, if that makes sense.
Convicted about like drinking and like partying?
Like 2021, whenever I found the Lord. But yeah, for me, I didn't like, the Lord just like removed the desire for me to like smoke and drink and all those things. Like I wanted to do all of that stuff.
He removed the desire.
Yeah, that's real.
Like,
thank you.
I had that, and then
And
I was
that's
just like,
amazing
dude, I'm
because
gonna
there are some
keep
people
on doing this for however long.
that
The
doesn't
reason I
happen
was
to
drinking and
where
smoking is
they'll
because I wanted
be
to
convicted
escape,
about
and
something,
now
but
Jesus
the
is
Lord
my
won't
escape.
remove
Like
the
my
desire.
peace.
So it
You always
always
hear like
intrigues
people
me
like, you
when
gotta
that
clean
is a
up for
legit
Jesus. I
thing,
didn't have
where
to
it's
clean up.
like
He just like did the work. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
so real. I wouldn't really drink
you just
anything else,
don't
but I would
have
like
that
always
desire
have a
anymore.
glass of wine or 3 at night. Like,
Yeah.
Or 5.
or 3.
Yeah.
Like I was genuinely probably buying like 2 or 3 bottles of wine a week.
Mm.
Wow. Yeah. And I wouldn't say it like I really felt conviction. And I feel like I really relate to
The Lord
it,
will
where the
convict
Lord
you
actually
like
just took the
slowly a
desire.
lot of
Like, it
times.
wasn't
Like there'll be
like
sometimes
people
where it's
were
like a
like,
big
you gotta
conviction
stop
after
drinking,
like
you
big
gotta stop
conviction,
doing
but
this. Like,
sometimes it's
it
just
was
like
like these things just I
baby
stopped
steps.
wanting it,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
which I know
Like
is only the
your
Lord.
Yeah.
conviction
Oh,
count
bless
is not
the
going to
Lord, oh my
necessarily be the same as
soul.
another's,
Thank you
nor is
so
your
much.
conviction is going to be the same as
Thank you
others. Because
so
somebody might be
much.
convicted not to wear
God
makeup
bless
anymore,
you.
but that in itself is not a
Jesus,
sin.
we pray
It
that
might
you
just be
bless
because
this
they
ceviche
have
to
it
our
as like
bodies.
Yes, Lord.
In
an
Jesus'
idol,
name,
or
amen.
they have to have it,
It's a
or it's
chip,
like
bro.
something.
It makes me
But
think of
another
the
person
scripture
that's
in
not going to be
Ezekiel where it
like the
says,
drinking.
I will put a
Drinking is
new
not a
heart
sin.
in you,
Jesus
and I
drank.
will cause your
But
heart of stone to be
getting
a heart of
drunk is.
flesh.
So somebody who
And
has
what happens, I
difficulty
feel like when we're
stopping themselves
in,
from getting drunk,
you were reading that?
especially all the time,
Oh, okay, we're in the spirit.
is going to
So
have
when we're
usually
dead
a
in
conviction
sin,
of
we have a
they
heart of stone.
can't drink at all.
So we
Because
actually have
that's
no
going to be their
conviction.
stumbling
Like
block
you
compared
can't,
to someone
you
like
can't be upset at
else.
someone
Like
who
I don't
doesn't
have a
have
problem
Jesus
drinking.
in
Like that's
them
not something that's a
for
conviction
sinning
for
because
me.
they have a
I
heart of
do
stone.
like feel
They're
convicted
asleep.
of okay, well
But
you
when we're
don't need
baptized by
to
the fire
finish a
and
whole bottle
spirit
of
and
wine
water,
type deal.
like we have a
That's
heart
not
of flesh.
something like
So then
you
we
don't
actually
need to be getting drunk. If you get
conviction.
like
I would,
like I
go
said,
and
being
go
drunk
party
is a
and
sin.
stuff, and I'd
So
wake up the
that
next
shows
morning,
difference.
and I would be so confused at how I would feel.
Like somebody having an extreme
Like
diet
that.
might
When
be a
before I
conviction
could do that, and I
for
was
them
fine.
of like, hey,
But then here I was
you're
waking up
idolizing
feeling
this, you're
like
distorting
guilty.
this in a way that's not healthy
and
for
I'm
you, but
going to
somebody else
church and I'm
having
doing
the
all that, and
same
it's like,
kind
oh
of diet
wow, I have a
won't
heart
be
of
convicted
flesh
because that's better
that
for
is now
them compared to
responsive to the
not.
spirit. And also, you get to a point where you feel guilt and you hate feeling that so much.
Yeah.
You're like, I can't do that anymore.
Oh, I felt dirty.
Yeah.
I felt dirty. I felt like I had to take like 5,000 showers. Like I just felt so gross.
The reason we're not allowed to like do specific things isn't because it's like laws, but it's because God created us and knows what our heart needs.
And he makes us new. So
Thanks
that
for coming to my
newing
celebration.
is going to be like a
I
progression
always
throughout
have
your
food
whole
on my
life.
face.
Especially like if you let him.
She's annoying.
Yeah, I am.
She's enjoying her food.
Very demure.
Very childlike.
Very modest, very sweet. You know what really helps me? Praying. And then I just am not thinking about how my body is suffering.
I already have a cramp.
Father, sustain us. I pray that you would be strong for us in our weakness.
Yes.
In Jesus' mighty name.
Wow.
That was good.
That is so pretty.
Like you can
We live
prop
in
because they
California.
pray
I
a
know.
lot of
I
just
feel like I'll
with
forget.
minor things. I'm that type of person to where it will be the most minor thing, and sometimes I'll just pray to God, which is good because it builds a relationship.
I'm proud of
with
you,
Him,
Alios.
because
You're
God
stepping
is
into your
supposed to be
fitness era.
a friend to you.
And the
Like, that's
world
supposed to
actually
be
isn't ready.
the richness of what He wants. Like He wants a relationship with you, and just like any relationship, sometimes just talking randomly to Him, just praying randomly to Him,
I
helps
could really
build
read
that
my
connection.
Bible up here.
Yeah. It probably would be just as peaceful, early in the morning.
It'd be a lot of work.
That was
Okay, so this was a 2-day
to get up.
because
It
I
was
did
much easier than I thought
mention
it was
earlier.
going
It
to
seemed
be.
like
So what
every
have been your
episode was a day
biggest
in
prayer
itself, but this
requests
definitely
recently?
seems like it's
Not
a
allowing me to get sucked
multiple days,
into the
at least 2
busyness.
days, because we had it extended
I feel like
tonight
I've been falling to that
just
a
a
little
moment
bit.
ago
It's not
when
even
they were with their
necessarily
friend, and now
selfish
this
things.
time
It's
it's
things
like
for the kingdom. But I don't even want
getting that
that
again.
to get in the way of being able to just be with Him. Even if it's stuff for the church. It's good stuff. But I don't ever want to talk more about Jesus than actually spending intimate time with Jesus.
Even the fact that you can feel that tug of war of
You have to be
wow,
careful
I need
that
to be
you're
putting
doing
Him
stuff,
first.
Yeah.
that you're doing
I
stuff
think
for
that takes
God
a lot
is
of
not interfering
self-awareness.
with you're doing
Yeah.
stuff
What do you
with
think the
God.
Spirit is leading
Because
you
then
to
it
do
doesn't matter as
to,
much. Yeah, you might be doing
I
good
guess,
and
make
doing
sure that it doesn't happen?
I think it comes
building
down to
things, but it's not worth
discerning.
it if you're not
Mhm.
building it
being
with God.
is this actually something I need to be doing right now?
Right now.
Right now.
What's most important is often what slips through the cracks because we focus on what's urgent.
Wow.
And then everything that's important, like our relationship with Jesus, just falls to the wayside because it's maybe not urgent to read our Bible, but it's important. But I think that's something that we all have to learn is how
Why it's
do
so
we
important to get
focus
into
on
a
what
daily
is
habit
most
of
important,
even just
not
reading
what
like
is urgent.
a small
Is
amount,
God
even
getting
just
the
like a chapter
scraps
of
of
it
your
or something.
fruit
Like
at the
it's
end
so
of the
important
day,
to
or
get
is He
into a
getting
daily habit
your
of being with God
fresh fruit at the
and
beginning?
reading
I
His
think the
Word
thing
and
that I
stuff
fall
like that.
into is if I don't get all these other little miscellaneous
You might not
things,
be able to spend an
literally
hour
sweeping
or
my
like
floor.
an
It
extended
sounds so
period of
silly,
time,
No,
but
that's
even
what was
just
in my head.
finding
Yeah.
I'm
something.
afraid that that's where my mind is just
Start
going to
out
be the whole time I'm
somewhere
with
and then
Jesus.
try
Is
to
thinking
grow it.
about all
Try
the
to
things I need to get done. So my brain says, okay, I'll get these things done so that I can have peace of mind and no distractions when I'm with Jesus.
And don't leave
my
it for the
heart
end of
is
the
in a
night.
good place, but I'm still.
I do end of the night devotionals and stuff like that, but I also start my day with God, and throughout the day, sometimes I might end up having to crunch time at the end of the night or end of the night my year in the Bible, but that's not at the cost of not having time with God earlier. I still try to make spending time with God throughout my day, at least starting and ending. That's always something that is helps enrich your relationship with Him. Sometimes you will have busy days, but those busy days also should be met with the Lord. Starting, like I said, start your day with God, or that in itself. Start with starting and ending your day with God, even if it's just 5 minutes when you wake up, 5 minutes when you go to sleep. Just start somewhere, but don't leave it. The reason I say don't leave it for the end of the night is because often you will be distracted and exhausted at the end of the night, and you're just wanting to sleep. And I have noticed that because I spend throughout the day with God, and I do make intentional times to be more intimate with the Lord at different days, when it is a day to where I'm just so exhausted, not every time, sometimes He'll give me the energy to keep on praying or whatever, but sometimes it's just you feel like God is no, it's okay, we can just have a quick conversation and then you can go to sleep. But that is on top of enriching your relationship by other means. It shouldn't be you wouldn't want your significant other, the people in your life that are important to you, just giving you the scraps of their time. So it's not fair that we should give them the scraps. It's always nice to be on the phone with somebody you care about and they fall asleep or you fall asleep to their voice, but not if that's the only thing you get. Not if the phone calls at the end of the night are the only thing you get, the 5-minute phone calls. But if it's like a long phone call and they text you out the day, they make time for you throughout the week, we wouldn't want that from someone in our lives. So why are we expecting God to be satisfied with just that? That is why so many of us, or I guess so many people often are so shallow in their faith, because they are shallow in their relationship and growing. Like they have that Sunday faith or even that holiday faith, and not that everyday intentional faith.
My heart is in a good place, but I'm still putting him after other things. You know?
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, I got you.
And I'll probably sweep better.
Yeah.
I'll probably actually love
You can also be with God while you're doing those things. That's something. I'll just be doing dishes and
I'm
put
proud
on
of
worship music or
That
pray
takes
while I'm like, you
discernment,
can. I'm not saying that should be the
self-awareness,
only time you're spending with God. I'm
and
just saying as far as
self-discipline.
Yeah. I love him
if
so
you
much.
struggle finding
Cheers.
time with God,
To
but
growth.
To Jesus.
start with that, and also pairing with trying to intentionally be with Him throughout your day, even with chores and even with whatever it may be. Just like, it's always fun just to do it, like it with God. But that is it. But I thank you all for staying and watching this with me. I appreciate you all, and I pray blessings upon you all. I bid you good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good whenever it is for you. It is night for me, so good night to you. Good bye.